good day, everyone. This is your Ate Kai. We are the Group 4 reporters, and for today's topic is global demography. Global demography is the study of the human population across the world. It involves the analysis of population size, composition, which includes age, sex, race, and so on and so forth, and distribution across different regions. It also examines how these aspects change over time due to births, deaths, migration, and aging. The concept is directly related to population because it focuses on understanding the dynamics of population changes. It helps us understand trends such as population growth or decline, migration patterns, changes in birth and death rates, and the impact of these changes on society, economy, and the environment. For example, global demography can help us predict how many people will be in the workforce in the future, what demand for housing or healthcare might be, or how migration could affect the economy. It also helps in planning for public services and policies and in understanding challenges such as urbanization, aging populations, or population decline. Many couples choose to have children because it's a sign of a successful relationship and it ensures their family name continues. Some worry about the stress a child can bring, as they need a lot of attention and love. But often, the decision to have children is influenced by economic factors. For example, in farming communities, more kids mean more help with the crops and running small family businesses. Families in these areas often have many children. However, in cities, professional couples with jobs usually prefer to have one or two kids. They're busy with work and also want to save money for things like retirement and their kids' education. They don't have large family networks to help out, so they have to handle life's challenges on their own. These different family lifestyles influence a country's policies about population. Countries that rely on farming usually have high population growth, but over time, the number of people in farming has decreased, while the number of people in cities has increased. This is because people move to cities for jobs in modern industries, especially in developing countries. Migration also plays a role. Many people live in countries other than their own, and more are expected to move from developing to developed countries. These immigrants can help balance an aging population, but they can also be seen as threats to the job market because they often work for lower wages. This has led to stricter immigration policies.
Good day, everyone. Now let's talk about the perils of overpopulation. But before that, let me define perils. In simple terms, perils means dangers or serious risks. It refers to situations or things that can cause harm, difficulty, or trouble. To explain the current discourse on overpopulation, a retrospective examination must commence with the late 18th century observations of Thomas Malthus. His prescient concerns about the potential depletion of the world's food supply due to unchecked population growth set the stage. In the 1960s, the narrative resurfaced through the influential work, The Population Bomb by Paul R. Ehrlich and his wife, Anne, proposing unconventionally strategies to mitigate perceived population-related threats. The period between 1955 and 1975 witnessed an apex in global population growth rates, prompting concerns regarding the equitable distribution of resources. The prevailing concept posited by curving population growth, finite resources could be more judiciously allocated to foster economic progress rather than perpetually sustaining an exponentially growing populace. In response to these concerns, nations such as the Philippines, China, and India implemented population control programs in the mid-20th century. The underlying rationale was the belief that unbridled population growth could precipitate resource crisis, give rise to widespread poverty, hunger, and political instability. However, the population control argument has not been without its detractors. Critics emphasize the multifaceted nature of the issue, pointing out that overpopulation is not a linear threat. In 2009, American billionaires issued a stark warning, reigniting global discussions by highlighting potential environmental, social, and industrial threats posed by unbridled population growth. Concurrently, economists advocate for a paradigm shift towards prioritizing reproductive health as a key element in national development. This includes promoting universal access to reproductive technologies and championing women's right to choose as a pivotal components in transforming nations into modern societies. An intricate interplay of politics influences global population control programs, with developed nations often supporting initiatives in their developing counterparts. This dynamic has manifested in extreme measures, including forced sterilization in China, Vietnam, and Mexico, raising ethical concerns and sparking debates on the intersection of population control and human rights. In conclusion, the echoes of historical concerns surrounding overpopulation persist in contemporary debates. As we talk about these complexities, it becomes imperative to adopt an ethical approaches to address global challenges. The relevance of the population debate underscores the ongoing need for robust dialogue and thoughtful solution.
Hello everyone. Today I am going to tackle about it's the economy not the babies. Growth and population results. First, aided economic development by spurring technological and institutional innovation and increasing the supply of human ingenuity. So, technological and institutional innovation allows organization to architect themselves to skill learning and generate treasure innovation at the other levels including products, business models, and management system. Second, megacities faces major problems. They also have become and continue to be centers of economic growth and activity. So, megacities is a very large city, typically with a population of more than 10 million people, while centers of economic growth and activity is one can define economic growth as increase in the inflation adjusted market value of the goods and service produced and economy of over time. Next is advances in agricultural production. have shown that the Malthusian's nightmare can be prevented. Advances in agricultural production means research on the cultivation of soil and crop, and rearing of livestock. It focused on new method that technologies for evolving agricultural processes, increasing yield and conservation and breeding. Next, the Green Revolution created high-yielding varieties of rice and other cereals, and along with the development of new methods of cultivation, increased yields globally, but more particularly in the developing world. So, Green Revolution enlarged increase in crop production in developing countries, achieved by the use of fertilizer, pesticide, and high-yield crop varieties. So, population control typically refers to the act of limiting the growth in numbers of a population by programs of contraception of sterilization. Must include more inclusive growth and greener economic growth. When we say inclusive growth, it is a concept that advances equitable opportunity for economic participants to our economic growth with benefits incurred by every section of society. Then, the greener economic growth is where these two challenges that meet, and it's about exploiting the opportunity to release the two together.
Hello everyone, I am about to discuss women and reproductive rights. The character in the middle of this debate, women is often the subject of these population measures. Reproductive rights supporters argue that if population control and economic development were to reach their goals, women must have control over whether they will have children or not, and when they will have their progenitors, if any. By giving women this power, they will be able to pursue their vocations, be they economic, social, or political, and contribute to economic growth. So, when we say reproductive rights are about the legal right to contraception, abortion, fertility treatment, reproductive health, and access to information about one's reproductive body. Reproductive rights secure people's freedom to decide about their body's capacities to not reproduce. These rights are centered on women's ability to make the best choices for their lives, including around the number of their children they have, if any, and spacing between their children's births. Reproductive rights include prenatal services, safe childbirth, and access to contraception. So, ang woman, ilagin na they have limitations good if mo reproduce sila kung children, kainin sila na sakto na ba ni, kulang pa ba ni, or need pa ba tayo reproduce. Then, sa spacing said, pila ang mga gap, like gikan ka sa panganak, then 2 years ba, 3 years ba ang gaps before ka mag-reproduce balik. Then, reproductive rights include prenatal services. So, ayong prenatal services, crucial din siya sa mga women na pregnant, you know, kay for them to know na healthy ba lang baby, na okay ra ba ang kahintang, wala ra ba, dili ra ba kuan, dili ra ba sila maglisod, then sa safe childbirth ka na, if okay ra ba ang pagpagawas nila, dili sa ba sila magkalisod, and for them to know kung sabit ang mga angay buhaton o ipang take like sa mga medicine, sa vitamins, kay if pataka lang sila o ganang take or kaon diha na without mo bumili baby kay unhealthy na kayo na sila kay wala sila pakiso. Dapat yun ka nang aware ang mga women and mga women nga dili din siya angay buhaton and dapat na sila access to contraception. Reproductive rights encompass a wide range of issues related to individuals' ability to make decisions about their reproductive health and family planning. This includes access to prenatal care and safe childbirth. So what I have said earlier, which are essential for ensuring the health and well-being of both the pregnant person and the baby. So dili lang kayo ang baby ang concern kundi ikaw sad mismo nga nagsabak sa bata. So ikaw sad ug dapat yun need healthy ka kay ug unsa ka mao sad ang epekto sa imong baby. So dapat aware gid ka sa imong kaugalingon ug angay ba ni buhaton or dili kay boy kay baby if kanang dili ka knowledgeable nag-care ka baby, diba? Additionally, access to contraception is crucial for individuals to have control over their reproductive choices and to prevent unintended pregnancies. By providing access to these services, reproductive rights help ensure the individuals can make informed decisions about their reproductive health and have resources they need to support those decisions. So, nindot yun nga naatay rights say makabawta, makadecide ta, makapilit daw. Enough na ba? Need pa ba more produce? Knowledgeable ba ta? So, mas nindot yun natay alam kay aware man good ta if kanang angay ba niyo siya na to i-pakuan, i-process or delay. So, mas nindot yun kay helping man good ang outcome o mga advantage ani if ato na siyang sundon.
Good day everyone, and I'm Charlotte M. Ramandas, and in this video I'm going to talk about reproductive rights. Reproductive rights encompass a woman's right whether or not to become pregnant, to use contraception, to have safe abortion, and to give birth in a safe and dignified manner. The right to make decisions about their own bodies is widely considered a fundamental human right. The debate over reproductive rights is often framed as a pro-choice versus pro-life issue. However, it is important to remember that reproductive rights are about much more than just abortion. They are about giving women the power to make decisions about their own bodies and lives. It is also important to note that the advantages and disadvantages of reproductive rights can vary depending on the context. For example, the impact of limited reproductive rights on maternal mortality rates may be higher in countries with poor healthcare system. Overall, reproductive rights are essential for protecting women's health, autonomy, and equality.
Good day everyone, I am Cindy Sagrol and I am here to report the feminist perspective. Reproductive rights, viewed from a feminist perspective, are a crucial aspect of women's empowerment. Feminists oppose mandatory and coercive population control measures as they believe these do not empower women. They argue that government assumptions linking poverty and environmental degradation solely to overpopulation are flawed, as they overlook other important factors such as wealth inequality, lack of social safety nets, and gender inequality. So, the feminist perspective is focused on ensuring women have access to comprehensive family planning counseling, including education on abortion, sexually transmitted diseases, human sexuality, and responsible parenthood. While these arguments have gained recognition globally, the challenge lies in translating them into national policies. The struggle for women and feminist movements continues in advocating for reproductive rights and addressing overpopulation concerns.
Population growth and food security. So in today's global population, atom population right now has reached 7.4 billion and it is estimated to increase to 9.5 billion in 2050. So then 11.2 billion by 2100s. So the median age of this population is 30.1 with a male median age at 29.4 years and female 30.9 8.9 years. So 90% aning atong population growth will happen in the developing country. Ang mga demographers, ang ilang mga trabaho is to give statistics about the statistic or the changes of the human population. So with demographers predicted that by the middle of this century, several countries will have tripled their population. So meaning, the more nga magka-gain taog years, or like for example 2021, 2022, is there is a possibility, or ang mga demographers is nagpredict sila that the increase sa population growth, and the opposite is happening in the developed world, where populations remain steady in general but declining in some of the most advanced countries, like for example Japan and Singapore. So some countries is ilaha jung gi put into rules ang some of the kuan kanang para maka-prevent og higher og increase sa ilahang population. So like for example sa China is one of the country nga strict kaayo when it comes to birth child kay if I'm not mistaken, 1 or 2 child per family. And kung mas daghan pa na nga number is there's a possibility is i-abort na lang nimo, or like sa kuno is i-abort ra siya or however, this scenario is not a runoff that could get out of control. So demographers predict that the world population will stabilize by 2050 to 9 billion, although they warn that feeding this population will be an immense challenge. So ang mga demographers is nagpredict sila that ang atong population growth, or ang atong human population around the world, or the world population rather, will stabilize igka 2050 daw to 9 billion. But then ang pagpa-stabilize sa isa ka population is a very challenging and difficult part of one's country kay there are instances like for example teenage pregnancy and unplanned family plan, like for example kanang pila inyong number of kids per family, or inyong plan nga kaya ninyo buhion, like for example so the decline in fertility or the birth rate or lower birth rate since niya na siya decline, and the existence of a young productive population, however, may not be enough to offset this concern over food security. So the Food and Agriculture Organization, or the FAO, warns that in order for countries to mitigate the impact of population growth, food production must increase by 70%, annual cereal production must rise to 3 billion tons from the current 2.1 billion, and yearly meat production must go up to 200 million tons to reach 470 million. So the problem here is that the global rate of growth of cereals had declined considerably from 3.2% in 1960 to just 1.5% in 200. So the decline sa fertility and the existence of a young productive population is not enough para ma-offset ni nga kaninga concern over food security. So in order for a country to provide for their people is need ako na nila nga mo produce, or food production, ang ilang food production is increase nila by 70%. It is because the more nga magkadaghan ang population sa isa ka country, the more the country needs to supply food. Kay it's because we are all aware that people eat. There are people na mo kaon jud og more, and nasay people nga mokaon og less, but then there are other countries na di gay sila mo limit sa ilahang family number, or ilahang wa sila family plan kung unsa im gawas maura jud. So there is a possibility that kato siya is mag-cause into food shortage. Like for example, katong if you're watching Attack on Titan, uh, they ang mga titans ato is ilang giguba ang wall and nakasulod sila eating people and so on and so forth. And katong mga people nga ka-survive is gitransport sila sa inner nga wall. So that time is since there are a lot of casualties or the survivors is katong nga part sa wall is a has experienced difficulty sa pag-release of food. It is because na shortage sila kay daghan na kayog casualties and di na ma-handle sa government nila nga mo produce pa og lain nga food. Uh, and so ang annual cereal production must rise into 3 billion tons. So, mana na to read. So, ang problem ng ani is, ang global rate of growth of cereals is ni decline pod. So, which means, mas malasan ang imong pag-produce og food. It is because of the cereals nga ni decline considerably from 3.2% in 1960 to just 1.5% in 200s.
Food and Agriculture Organization recommends na ang countries na nidako ang investment craft long-term policies are aimed to fight poverty and also ma-invest sa research sa usa ka development. Then sa United Nations they suggest na we need sa usa ka nasod na naay saktong social service program, like example food assistance, mga center or health service, then education para sa mga tao na dili ka afford sa pag-eskwela, in order na ang taga country is like dili maglisod ang tao sa usa ka country, then para na sila enough na maduulan if wala sila like foods, lisod magbayad sa check-up, then pag-eskwela. Kay we know na dili tanan tao maka-afford sa paggastos sa, like for example man, ang pag-eskwela ug ang kanang sa mga kanang bayronon sa hospital, labaw na ko ng mga naglisod sa kinabuhi. Then every country or like sibling ang isa country is dapat mo try og export or global trading na fair and competitive in a right way na maka-contribute sa market sa usa ka country. Then we know political should push through the system sa pag-change or kausaban sa population na like sa usa ka nasod we need a nindot mo handle na governance in order na kanang malikayan ang kanang pag-increase sa population, especially right now kay still developing, and there's possibility to increase that kind of situation na until now have yet to attain.